And you're live.
Hello, Astrid.
Hello.
Do you want to tell us about this awesome, amazing, fantastic, popular, and majorly influential game that you're going to show us?
Yes, I do. Um, you see, Turok 3, this is the third installment of like the Turok franchise. And Turok, extremely incredible, popular, wonderful, amazing video game. Like, wow, revolutionary to first person shooters and everything like that. Turok 2 was just like, let's do that, but even better. And then just nobody played Turok 3, and it makes me really sad because I love Turok 3. It is super cool. So, I'm happy to be playing this one. Are you excited to see it?
I am so super duper excited to see this run.
Very cool. So, I do want to point out something is that we have a cast of characters and everything. So before we begin, you can see how they have like their backstories, their whole information about who they are. But we're not going to play as any of them. We're going to play as this Velociraptor whose background is simply dinosaur go burr. And I think that's beautiful. What else do you need in a backstory other than dinosaur go burr?
I
Correct?
think that's all we need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, the if we're ready to begin, are we ready to begin?
I believe we are.
All right, then the timer will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And it is Velociraptor time. So, as you can see, first person Velociraptor time, we can have these claws, which notably do not look like these other hands that you also have when doing different tools. That's not important. What is important is that they're the same character. You can tell by this they're the same color and everything. That's what's actually meaningful here. So we need that one key that's in the box. One thing that you'll notice is I'm running like diagonally here. And diagonally because if you're familiar with speedruns of like Doom, for instance, there's things like SR40, SR50, and if you run diagonally, you can get a little bit more speed because you're getting both the inputs of going forward and the inputs of going sideways, so you go a little bit faster going that way. So you'll be seeing a lot of that. Lots of diagonal running throughout this. Otherwise, it is a fairly straightforward speedrun. The Velociraptor is the fastest character out of all the ones that you can play. They all have kind of different... The two main ones that you start with, Danielle and Joseph. Danielle, she is the slowest character, but she can jump higher. So she can get to areas that Joseph cannot, and therefore the campaign is a little bit different. While they basically follow like the same pattern, the same ideas, hers is a little bit different because she's going to be jumping over things to get to areas, whereas Joseph, he's pretty fast, but he can't really jump very high. So instead, what Joseph must do is crawl into things. So you'll see like little holes that we crawl into instead. So basically, we are getting the best of both worlds as a Velociraptor, where we get to experience whichever version we so want, because we can choose whether to jump over things, because we can jump that high, And we can also choose to crawl under things because we can crawl like that. So, we are basically doing the most optimized path through the game that we possibly can until there's some RNG elements that will decide whether we are doing a chapter that's only in Joseph's story or a chapter that's only in Danielle's story. And we don't know whether that will be one or the other until we get to that point. So, story up to this point, extraterrestrials are invading Earth, and it's once again up to Turok to save Earth. But since we're playing as a raptor, it's like, and by Turok, I mean a velociraptor, of course, as opposed to Turok the dinosaur hunter it has been in the previous games. So, that's pretty much Turok 3. I'll explain some other things as we do them. But until then, Valiant Son, hope that things are going well for you. Hope you're enjoying. Is there anything that we need to know about right now?
You know, the people are sending in some messages for us, and I think I'd be remiss not to share that we had a $10 donation from Cece that says trans rights. And that went towards that superliminal bonus tech demo showcase that is going to be coming up later in this evening, and as well went to our poll for, I believe it is the Quest for Glory Trial by Fire hero name. And so, chat, remember we are using Tiltify, which means that you can put money towards targets and goals at the same time. Make sure to put !donate in the chat, and make sure that you're marking that and getting your money sent to not only our great amazing cause, but also all of those spicy incentives that we have ready for you this evening.
Perfect. I've already defeated the first boss. He dies in one hit if you hit a very specific spot with the, with this boomerang glaive that we have. The reason for that is actually kind of funny. So Night Dive did this remaster of Turok 3 that we're playing right now, and one of the things that they very kindly did was when they brought it to PC, they unlocked it to go to, 120 frames per second. This game was not meant to be played at 120 frames per second. As a result, things like this glaive, which basically it does damage as it spins, and it spins about as fast as your frame rate can go, so 120 frames, that's ridiculous for the glaive, and it just melts some of the bosses, like, immediately. So that first boss was an example of just, yeah, if you just throw the glaive right here, you just win. You just beat that boss. Oh no. I was just a fraction of a second too short to just go right underneath that falling platform there. Gonna jump over this friend. We wound up in a military base after defeating that boss. We don't know why. We just kind of showed up here. And it is in the midst of a self-destruct sequence that is going on. The soldiers seem extremely thrilled that this place is going to self-destruct. And the scientists here are... They're yelling about it. They're very sad. But thankfully, we have stopped the base from self-destructing because we have a Turok investigation to do. This part, there's a cutscene, but if we just restart the level, it just starts us from there without the cutscene happening, so that's a little skip there. Right here, we're gonna see whether we got Joseph's level. That's how we know, because it's very dark. Let's go ahead and restart that. Got caught.
So it randomly chooses what level to do, then, at this point?
It sure does. For the most part, the campaigns are the same, but this one particular level is different depending if you are Danielle or if you are Joseph. So this one particular level is different, and thankfully we got Joseph, who is faster than Danielle's would be in the speed strats. Casually, they're about the same, but you can just go into the ceiling there, grab the key that you need to open this door, and then you are on your way. And coming up is the only difficult boss for the Velociraptor to fight. It is honestly quite tragic, but the reason is because the hitbox that we're going to do, it doesn't really give us enough time to just cheese it with the glaive like the other bosses you will see. So we actually have to fight this boss kind of in a normal way. The fastest is to use a bow and arrow, but the Velociraptor is actually not allowed to use the bow and arrow. Like, just simply cannot pick it up. These claws can pick up many things, but not a bow and arrow. So, obviously, according to video game logic, the only vulnerable spot of this is the eyeball. So we are trying to hit it in the eyeball and hope that things work out. Our health is very low. Okay, that's what I thought. No problem. A little bad luck in this run, but it's no problem. Hello again, friend. He's doing the one attack that I don't want him to be doing, which is trap.
Hello, chat. While we get the tech unhaunted, I just want to hang out with y'all for a little bit. Did you know that we are benefiting the Transgender Law Center here at Speed4? Founded in 2002, the Transgender Law Center, or TLC, is the largest national trans-led organization advocating for a world where all people can define themselves and their futures. Grounded in racial justice and legal expertise, TLC is committed to ensuring transgender and gender nonconforming people are able to live and thrive. Chat, I'm super duper excited to be here with all of y'all. And as we try to restore those Velociraptors, let's talk for a bit. Let's consider what we were seeing there, because Astra did point out something very interesting, which are the fact that there were definitely at least 3 different sets of hands for that Velociraptor. And do we think it's limited to that? Do you think it's factually accurate that there are actually... Do you think Velociraptors were actually like spiders, I guess is what I'm saying? Because obviously we are moving via legs, and if we could visibly see 3 hands, then that I think makes 8 limbs total, and therefore are Velociraptors scorpions? Tell me in your donations. I want to know. These are the theories that I am having right now. We had some donations come in, and I think I'll take that time to read some of them. We had a $10 donation from Erica Lawless. That went towards that Superliminal bonus tech demo shortcase. And just to give y'all that quick update on that, we are... Let me refresh the poll real quick. We are $35 of that $200 in order to get that showcase, so make sure that you are following that up and you are going. And the good news is, chat, I have been told that tech is no longer haunted, and the scariest thing on our screen will be the continuation of this Turok run. And so I think we will be right there with Astrid shortly. You want the countdown from here? Hello, Astrid. Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. So, we ready to go?
Yeah, if you can give us a countdown right before you hit that resume button, we'd super appreciate it.
Sure, sure. In that case, it'll be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. We're just fighting mutated dinosaurs. It's honestly just normal Turok stuff. Yeah, we have the most difficult skip in the game coming up in just a moment. But first, a little guessing game. Which Velociraptor am I?
Oh man.
I love that little cutscene because you just fade in so perfectly with all of them. Alright, so real quick, we gotta kill this enemy. That is so that another enemy will spawn later. We're gonna hop up here, and we're gonna make this explode, grab this chip, and we gotta face this direction for an amount of time, because we need an enemy to spawn. There he is. He's coming. He's coming. Had to just make sure. We're gonna jump on his head, and then crouch to try to get through the collision of the door behind us. And this is a tricky one because you are depending on that AI, but we got it the first try. Let's go. So that skips minutes of gameplay right there for looking for batteries to put into a generator, to restart it, to doing that whole scavenger hunt scenario. We can just go through the wall and just do what we gotta do. So that was a really good time save. I'm really happy that that worked that way. Like, immediately. Alright. So, coming up now, we have the chain gun, because what is scarier than a Velociraptor with a chain gun? You let me know. I'd love to know. This is another boss that is turned into a joke by virtue of the this boomerang existing. He's gonna keep appearing in these little tubs, and we're just gonna keep destroying him immediately, pretty much, because 120 frames per second glaive is nothing to joke about. Apparently, it is power. Now he's gonna start getting the other attack that actually really hurts. All right. And one more before we actually have to do the boss fight. And a locked door. There we go. Now we get to do the actual boss fight, which again is gonna kind of be a joke. Like, that's a real boss health bar. I want to point that out. Like, that's a real size boss health bar that we just kind of shriveled down in 2 throws. Game is silly. I love it so much. And now we are gonna... This is a little throwback to the first Turok, this area. Lots of dinosaurs, lots of folks that want to be in our way and kill us. So we're just gonna get rid of them as soon as they step in front of us. But there's really only one person who needs to be killed here, and that is this gatekeeper dude. And he's dead. We're just gonna get his gate key so that we can, in fact, sneak on through here. Grab this grappling hook, and we're just gonna make our way through this level. So, Valiant Son, if there's anything that needs saying, it's a good time to say it.
Absolutely. We had a $5 donation come in from our previous host, OG Happy Dude. He says, "Hey y'all, this is my pun tax from my host shift from the Kirby run earlier. Not my proudest moment, but what is done is done. In the honor of the best pun that made me facepalm myself while reading, put this towards Gouda for me." And that $5 went towards that Quest for Glory Trial by Fire hero name, which means that we have $25 right now for transgender, $20 for Gouda, and $15 for trans rights. So chat, remember, you are able to put in your incentives for those polls and make sure you're also marking your donations towards that target as well for that superliminal bonus tech demo showcase run. I know that we can do it, chat. We've been knocking out all these incentives and these targets and these polls. Let's make things happen. Let's continue benefiting TLC.
Heck yeah. We just killed another boss by just dropping him through the floor with a trap. I love that trick so much. It's so good. I adore it.
I almost feel like kind of bad that it's like, okay, we've got this donation, and then you're like, by the way, I just managed to kill 7 million bosses while you were looking away.
It's just a very fast run where things happen. But yeah, that boss basically, the rocket launcher can explode things through the floor, so or through any wall even. Like, it just kind of, the explosion from it just clips through anything that would have collision normally. So we just are able to do that to trigger the boss to come upstairs instead of us having to go down there and get him out ourselves. And then you can just easily go, all right, well, here's the trap we want you to stand on. Goodbye. This here is a huge skip in the game. There we go. There is about a less than 1 second window, which you can pull that off with the grappling hook. It's very cool that we immediately got it, and that skips a huge portion of the game. So for this one, we're going to do several steps. We're going to just bounce that off and get the... There we go. Just the boomerang to bounce off the back wall to come and hit the boss in the back, because that is the boss's weak point. So we just bounce it off the wall, pull it back through the boss, and sometimes just instantly kills it. Took 2 throws that time, and that was the entire boss fight, which is normally pretty tricky. So this one, we're going to try to do a glitch here. There we go, where we just kind of phase through the elevator and make it immediately take us to the top. And now, just put in these crystals to make the bridge lower. I have speculated whether we can jump on the bridge, like, you know, right about now, so that we can maybe get on it. But the bridge isn't real until just about here, so you just basically go right through the bridge whenever you try something like that. Those dudes are aliens from beyond the universe. Let's just ignore them.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah. Okay, so there's these friends throwing grenades at us and whatnot. We're just gonna hop on past the lava, not take too much damage from the lava. These doors do open, but you don't have to wait for them to open. You can just run through them. And we're gonna get that bridge set up for us. And this will be another moment where you get to see a difference between Joseph and Danielle in their pathing for the campaign. We're going to take Joseph's path, and you will see what I mean by that. Oh my gosh. Game, I do not want to climb that ladder. Right here, this little hole you can just squeeze in with Joseph and go through, so the Velociraptor can do that too. And otherwise, you have to go all the way around with Danielle, jumping over a whole bunch of stuff. But with Joseph, we can just kind of squeeze right on in. And the Velociraptor being a combination of both of their stories, we can just do that if we so choose. So now we have a long elevator ride ahead of us. Basically, you are intended to take the elevator to these different stops. Elevator's not the right word. What is the word for it? The Funyucator? Maybe? Basically this thing, it's supposed to drop you off at all these areas. There's generators to blow up and stuff to do things, but when you can just go directly to where you need to go because you're speedrunning, you don't gotta worry about it. So we're just gonna take it all the way to the end. So we have plenty of time for donations and talking about the marathon and what we're doing here.
Hell yeah. My first question is, I posed to chat while we were hanging out earlier that I think velociraptors might be arachnids, and we did notice that in the shadow, when you're holding your weapons, your claws are still like shadow when you're like holding your little like the chakram boomerang thing. So I do think my theory of velociraptors being arachnids in this game holds. What is your opinion on that?
You know what? I hadn't considered that, but it makes sense because we do have like different sets of limbs. Like we have these claws that clearly don't have thumbs, but then we do have a thumb here when we pull out the boomerang. So maybe that's just another set of arms that we just pull out, you know? Maybe. You might be onto something there.
Chat, donate and tell us what you think.
All right.
Reminder that all those... Oops.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, all that money's going to Transgender Law Center, which helps changes law, policy, and attitudes so that all people can live safely, authentically, and free from discrimination regardless of their gender identity or expression. And now back to the game.
We have another of the really difficult skips, but the reason we don't have to destroy all those generators and do all that stuff is because we can be really silly and just simply make this jump that's not intended to be made. But it is a tricky jump. You're basically trying to hold on to collision that's invisible. So there it is. All right. And that skips a considerable portion of the game. Even missing once, you skip so much of the game. We're gonna once again wait for our lift. Those guys are being really mean and shooting me. We have a little grappling hook action to do. And that will lead us to the area right before the final boss, the first time you fight the final boss. So this isn't the final boss, it's just the same boss, but the first time you fight him. That's who's going to be coming up, but we have to unlock one of these doors, but this isn't all the locks. This is just enough to open the door we need to because we can simply make that jump as the Velociraptor. Till we get down here and start fighting this thing. We have to wait for it to do a certain move. There we go. And now we can switch to this. And that will take care of one of the health bars, but it's going to regenerate another one. And now it's down to RNG. we want him to be praying, not clapping. If he raises his hands over his head, he's clapping. He's invincible while he's doing that. He's praying. So we can just shoot him. And that will make it to where he can only get his health back once. That's good RNG for him to immediately go into the little prayer position. Let's hope that he does it again and doesn't start clapping. He's praying again. Beautiful. Alright, and now we have to go fight him again. By the way, these dudes, every time you kill one of those, a different one spawns, so it's best to just leave him alone. He can't do much to us. We're just gonna go over here. This jump is something you have to do with any of the characters you can potentially speedrun with, but for the Raptor, that jump is basically free. Because you can jump so high and go so fast. And you need a little bit of speed and height to be able to make that jump. It's just a free jump, playing as the Raptor. So, we're almost there. Time is coming up. That big old monster has taken the form of Danielle and Joseph's brother, the star of Turok 2, Joshua, and unfortunately Joshua is not able to survive being shot in the head once by a rocket launcher. Time is coming up in now. That's time.
GG!
Thank you, thank you. One thing I do want to point out about this is these satchels here. The light, as it were. It's interesting that there's two because of lore reasons that I won't get into. But listen to the sound of this explosion. The fact that they picked that explosion is beautiful. Anyways, that's Turok 3. And I hope that y'all have been enjoying the marathon, and I hope that I hope that y'all know that raising money for something like a Trans Law Center is incredibly needed right now. All causes toward trans rights are incredibly needed. As a trans woman myself, who is living in the United States of America, it is a harrowing time to be alive and existing. So any support goes a long way. Thank you so much, y'all.
And Astrid, if people are interested in potentially watching more of you, and being able to support you, can we find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/AstridTheHorrorGirl. I play horror games mostly, and I speedrun horror games mostly.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for that absolutely amazing showcase. And chat, don't go far. We've got some more Speed 4 coming down the pipeline. Rocket fast.